Hey everyone, Garbage here. So if you've been following my channel for at least a couple of weeks now, then you're probably aware that I am currently making a multiplayer first-person shooter. And right now things are early days, and so I'm in that phase where I get to choose what kinds of features and mechanics I want to add to the game. And for the most part, this is going pretty well, except recently I had an experience that made me realize that this is actually one of the more dangerous periods in a video game's development cycle, because I had inadvertently fallen into a classic trap that has plagued video games since pretty much the dawn of video games, which is feature creep. I mean, everyone knows what feature creep is. It's this tendency for games to get more and more complex as they're being developed, maybe because the developer is a bit undisciplined and they just want to add whatever feature they think is cool at the time. And eventually it gets to the point that it becomes really difficult or maybe even impossible to finish the game because there's just so many things you have to do. So recently I've been working on the movement in my game, and from the very beginning I wanted to keep things simple. And so just like any other first-person shooter, you have your WASD movement, and then you've got jumping. Nothing too crazy. You know, if you jump just high enough to clear this half-height platform, but you don't jump high enough to clear the full-height platform. That is, unless you get right up to the platform and jump, in which case you'll mantle to the top. And that's about the extent of the movement in the game. I didn't want to do anything really crazy. But recently, I've been grinding a lot of Apex Legends trying to rank up, and seemingly out of nowhere, I got this idea in my head like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had like power sliding in the game? Maybe it would make the game feel faster and more dynamic, and you know people just love their movement shooters. And so I took about a day to implement a power sliding function into my game, and by the end of that day I had something that was functional, and I was pretty proud of myself because I felt like I had accomplished something. But then I started thinking about it, and then I realized that I actually did worse than if I had just done nothing at all. Because think about what happens when you add an unexpected feature into a game. First, you have to program in the power sliding, and then you have to make sure that the physics doesn't break any of the other physics you've got going on in the game. And then you have to create art and animations for the slide. You have to do sound design for the slide. You have to do bug testing. You have to do balancing, and you have to do a zillion other things related to that power slide. And all of those things take up a lot of time, especially since I'm working on this project by myself. And I realized that just by adding this one little feature to the game, I had basically tripled or even quadrupled the amount of work that I would have to do to finish the game. And if there's anything that I, a very lazy individual, want to avoid, is create more work for myself. And so once I realized this, I immediately deleted power sliding from the game. And the reason why I was so brutal about deleting it was because I knew that I hadn't even gotten started on the most complicated feature that the game is going to have. So in my game, when you start up a new match, the very first thing that you need to do is pick a weapon. And so you have this weapon menu that you can choose weapons from. And so the idea is that once you pick a weapon, you are committing to using that weapon for the remainder of the match. And as you play the game and you're getting kills, you're earning credits, which you can then use to upgrade your weapon in various ways. For example, maybe you decided that you wanted to use a shotgun for the match. But what you didn't realize was that the enemy all decided to go for long-range weapons like sniper rifles, maybe LMGs or assault rifles. And so you're finding that you're having a difficult time getting close enough to the enemies in order to shoot them with your shotgun. And so in my mind, one thing that you might be able to do about that is you can change the ammunition from like buckshot, which has spread and limited range, and you could change that to a slug that can go a very long distance and it's very accurate. And so you can kind of contest the enemy at the ranges that they want to play at, even though you're using a shotgun. Basically, the idea of the game is that you're upgrading your weapon to kind of suit the situation at hand. And this is probably going to be the most complicated part of the game. But yeah, basically I just wanted to share this little learning experience I had while making my own game. I guess kind of like as a cautionary tale. And maybe if you're making your own game, then this is something that you might want to think about as well. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, bell, links to my Discord and Twitter down below. And as always, have a nice day.